Welcome to today's edition of Daytime Dialogues. It is my great privilege and great honor to welcome Rabbi Dr. Sharon Shalom. Many of us in Chicago have heard Dr. Shalom, Rabbi Dr. Shalom before because he visited our community on a number of occasions. And yet he is one of the great and fascinating personalities in Israel because of his own personal story. He came to Israel as part of the Ethiopian Aliyah in 1982. He, after that, received smicha from the Rabbanut Rashit. He was a student at Yeshivat Har Etzion. He received his PhD at Bar Ilan. And in addition to other things that he has published, most recently, in the last several months, a new book of his came out, which we'll talk about a little bit later, called Dialogues of Love and Fear. So Rabbi Shalom, thank you so much for joining us today from your home and here to Kins.
Yeah, Shalom Rabbi Metanki. I'm so happy to speak with you. אני כל כך שמח מאוד לראות אותך פה. אני הייתי מעדיף לדבר איתך בעברית, אולי ביידיש.
Well, so one of the things I didn't say,
maybe
yeah, Rabbi, what people don't know is Rabbi Shalom is also the Rav of a community in Merkaz Shapiro called Kedoshei Yisrael, which is made up of Ashkenazi Jews.
Yeah, most of them Holocaust survivors.
Many of them survivors. So if we just take a moment and try to bring this all in, we have an Oleh from Ethiopia. We have from a family that was miyucheset, a kes, an Ethiopian Jewish religious leader was his father, and from his family, we have a person who's a scholar, and we also have a person who can speak a little bit of Yiddish with us, but I think today we're going to do English, if it's all right.
Okay. In English. So, nice to meet you. Naim meod, Rabbi. Naim meod. I'm very happy to meet you, and make me to be very, happy and glad to speak with you and discussion with you.
No, it's wonderful. And Rabbi Shalom, I want to go straight to the book actually for a moment, because this book is a fascinating book. It's a dialogue between a rabbi's daughter and a kes's son. And it's an imaginary set of letters and dialogue. It actually sounds a little bit like a modern day kuzari.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Actually, this is very similar to the Kuzari, this dialogue, but I influence from the Sichot al-Ahava, it means discussion about the love, the book of Yehuda Abarbanel, son of the Yitzhak Abarbanel. And he wrote book, and there is a dialogue between Philo and Sophia. And I took this model of Yehuda Abarbanel because this dialogue, I believe that the meeting between Ethiopian Jews and between the Ashkenazi Jews here, this is meeting between two models of Judaism. This is meeting between two, perspective of tradition of Jewish people. Because I remember, I come here to Israel, my first time to go to the classroom to teach a student, and a couple of students, they can't believe that I'm Jew. And they told me they were in shock. So he told me, "Are you a basketball player?" I answered, "Of course not. Of course not. I'm not a basketball player." But one, teacher, she asked me, "I can't believe you." So, and she asked, what I call non-intelligent questions, because she told me, "No, I can't believe it because you're black." And I answered, first of all, I'm not black, I'm brown. Because she asked me a non-intelligent question. Intelligent is in betoch. Leganos is in Greek language. It means kav. It's line. Okay, line. And so legally come from leganos. So intelligence is meant to be able to see between the line. And the big philosopher told us that 80% of human beings, they are not intelligent. And I think that the meeting between two models of Judaism, it was very hard to Ethiopian Jews to accept and receive the Ashkenazi Jews as a Jew. And the other side was very, very hard to accept the Ashkenazi Jews as Ethiopian Jews as a Jews. So this is, and for, to find the solution, we can scream, okay? We can throw, fight each other. Sorry, what happened in America today? Racism. And I believe that in Israel, the problem based on not an racism problem. In Israel, the question is, who is a Jew? It's not racism. Here is not racism. Rabbi, I want to tell you, my wife, she came make Aliyah from Switzerland. She is a Yeke. I told you once that the Yeke people, to the Mount Sinai, Ma'amad Sinai, they came 1 week before. Rabbi, what they got? They got Derech Eretz, because Derech Eretz kadma la Torah. and Litbak people arrive exactly on the time. Therefore, they got Torah, Litbak, all the Torah. And the Hasidim people, they say, they arrive exactly to the Kiddush. And some of them, Ika de Amrei, Chabad people arrive to Chet HaEgel, but not to participant, to be Shaliach, Shliches. So, this is two kind of very different culture between Yekes and Ethiopian. And actually, and dialogue, this is a solution of any disconnection, any suspicion, any there is no peace. So I believe that any problem in the world, I believe that a second temple was destruction, because there is no dialogue between Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. There is no dialogue. There is a fear. There is a suspicion, and this is what exactly Anatzif tell us when he wrote his book about the Akdama LeSefer Bereshit.
So if I can ask, then your wife is a Yeke, you're Ethiopian, but your traditions, the way you observe Judaism today is different than what would have been in Ethiopia, because when you came, you studied at Yeshivat Har Etzion, you are in the mainstream of Judaism within, I guess, closer to a Sephardi culture in some ways. How does your family navigate between the Yekisha background of Switzerland, the Ethiopian background, and the realities of creating your children? Do they have Ethiopian customs? Do they have Sephardi customs? Do they have Yekisha customs? Even what do you eat on Pesach?
Rabbi. Even the Pesach, I can tell you, yes. Rabbi, actually, each family in Israel, it doesn't matter if this Ashkenazi, Ethiopian, each family this is a challenge, okay? Because 50 years ago, the Ashkenazi people, they can't imagine that their children, they're going to marry with the Sephardi people. Okay, the Ashkenazi people, they were established this country. And say, in Yiddish say, I will the Chaye, oi weiss mir, ich weiss, a Schwarze, okay? And today, we speak about that about 50% intermarriage between Sephardi and Ashkenazi, and the grandchildren, okay? It's in Ethiopian, between Ethiopian and non-Ethiopian, today in America, by the way, Rabbi, in America, between white and black is based on only 6%. Only 6%. In Israel, between Ethiopian and non-Ethiopian, 12%. Okay, it's amazing. Only in 3 years, 30 years, sorry, only in 30 years. In America, it's 200 years. So it's amazing. So I think we hear Israel country is like museum of Judaism. Museum, like, have Yemen people and even Sfaradi and Ashkenazi, there are struggle between kitniot, non-kitniot, how they eating, no eating. In Yemen, because they used to eat marak, soup very hot, on they put, Ashkenazi, no. So each today, this is struggle and it's amazing. So it's not only between Ethiopian and Ashkenazi, but Ethiopian and Ashkenazi is more is big, very high challenge. Okay, for example, I can give you, Rabbi, and for the others listening, Ethiopia. First of all, maybe before Pesach, when I arrived to Har Etzion Yeshiva, at the beginning, the chief rabbinate, they asked for Ethiopian Jews to make, simple conversation. It means Giur Lechumra, because in Ethiopia, they marry with Ktuba, but when they divorce, they used to, they don't use with get. In Ethiopia, there is no get, okay? In divorce, they used to take the Ktuba and tear it, to change, get kritut. So according Rabbanut, the divorce of Ethiopian does not work. If Ethiopian women divorce according Ethiopian halacha, for halacha, rabbinate halacha, she's still married. Therefore, if she's going to marry the children in the future, they safek mamzerim. So because that, the chief rabbinate request from Ethiopian Jews to go to the mikveh. And when I arrived here, I did a mikveh, a symbol Giur Lechumra, without bracha, because I'm a Jew. And when I arrived to Yeshivat Har Etzion, I asked my Rabbi Amital, I told him, listen, why you request from Ethiopian Jews to do symbol conversation? And he answered to me like, he used to tell us all the time. First of all, I want to tell you, be in Yiddish, menschlichkeit, before you looking for to be frumkeit. Okay, first of all, menschlichkeit. And he answered me like menschlichkeit. He told me, takshiv bachur, takshiv. Listen to me. The Rabbanu tells like this. If someone from Alon Shvut come to me and he told me, listen, this yeshiva bucher, I want which my daughter to marry with him. And how I can answer to him? I going to say this guy have a suspicion. The rabbinate told him to be. No, don't ask. This is in Israel. In other way, he told me, Rabbi, in Israel, you have to be not right. You have to be smart, wise, not right. Okay, I looking for to be smart, not right. So at the beginning, and I have big problem between the yeshiva, the halacha in the yeshiva Har Etzion, and my tradition, Ethiopian tradition. So even I don't eat during 2 years in my home. אני עושה חזרה בתשובה today because I hate my mom, זיכרונה לברכה, because I told her that her food is not kosher. Because in Ethiopia, we eat chicken and milk, okay? And we never separate between Chalavi and Besari, okay? Never. And you know, when I come to my house, my parents' house, I told to my mom, listen, your chicken is not kosher. So, and also in my house today, now finally I arrived to you, Mr. Rabbi. So my wife, she's Ashkenazi, and I come with my tradition, and we decided that our children can choose what they want. Okay, they can choose. So most of the, you know, for example, I wait between meat and milk 1 hour. In Ethiopia, they wait only 1 hour. And my wife, she wait 3 hours, according to Ashkenazi. And most of our children go according to my wife. So most of the majority go after my wife and no after me.
They choose to wait 3 hours instead of 1. I had a teacher.
Yeah.
I had a teacher from Holland, and I remember when he was married, and his wife was so happy to go from 6 hours down to 1.
Maybe my wife, she's the boss here. She's the boss here. Anyway, and also we have, you know, for example, my wife, if in Ethiopia, if, for example, if someone fasting on Shabbos, must kill him according to the law, halacha of Ethiopia. You can never fasting on Shabbos, okay? It's not good, you know, fasting on Shabbos, they forbid it. And another way, if someone eat in Yom Kippur Day, also it's correct. So what we going to do if on Shabbos day fall on Yom Kippur for Ethiopian Jews? Okay, this is a big problem. If you are Ethiopian rabbi, you have to choose how to die. Okay, it's a big problem. So I suggest here, if Yom Shabbos fall on Yom Kippur, Ethiopian Jews can do Kiddush, only Kiddush to honor of Shabbos day, and to give to the child to test. And my wife, she as Ashkenazi, she told me, listen, we go to do it on Yom Kippur to do a Kiddush, and I afraid. Still I am afraid, okay? But maybe one day we can go to do, maybe in the future. On Pesach day, the definition of what is chametz is very different, because in the Talmud, our sages tell us chametz is chameshet minei dagan.
Right.
But in Ethiopian sages, you know, chachamim, the kesim, leaders, spiritual leaders of Ethiopian Jews, they explain something else. Why we forbidden to eat chametz? Not because it's chameshet minei dagan. They put the emphasis, the reason is because matzah zo al shuma al shum shelo הספיק בפסקם להחמיץ כי גורשו ממצרים. So the problem is not from where you doing the matzah. This is the time. The problem is time, not which kind of the kemach. Okay, the problem is the zman. Azman. Issue is zman, time, not which kind of kemach. Kemach is kemach is man. What?
So when you have matzah, if you Seder, are you going to have the matzah like Ashkenazim, the hard matzah, or are you going to have the soft matzah like Sfaradim, or is there a different kind of matzah that you would eat at Pesach?
Listen, I mentioned Rabbi, Ethiopian Jews, they eat only what they do today, okay? You know, cottage, cheese, cola, Coca-Cola, everything they never eat, wine. This is they forbidden on Pesach, because if in Egypt there is no time to do a rogalach or something pita or pita Iraqi, how you have a time to do cheese or Coca-Cola or wine, because this is also we have to do. You need time to do cottage cheese. Therefore, Ethiopian Jews, they eat everything what they do on the day. On the
Everything
day,
fresh
okay?
can't be prepared.
So the definition of the chametz is very, very different. And I want to do like in Ethiopian matzah. Ethiopian matzah is wow, it's amazing. No, like the Ashkenazi matzah is like oy veizmir, like how do you say? What's called matzah? Ashkenazi matzah is very, very hard. So Ethiopian is very soft and very hot. So I when I arrive here, I stop to eat Ethiopian matzah because I don't know why. Here Ashkenazi halakha based on the fear. Oh, oy shema, ulai, maybe suspicion. Maybe Achmitz. In Ethiopia, this is a error. There is no suspicion. There is no maybe. Okay, everything based on the trust, and trust and love, no fear. So when I arrive here, unfortunately, I changed my mind from love to fear. So I have to work very hard to go. I promise each year for myself that, but next year, that Hashem, I'm going to do Ethiopian matzah. Meanwhile, it's not happened, but I promise to you, Rabbi, that one day, maybe next year, not this year, I'm going to do Ethiopian matzah.
So let me move away from the specifics for a minute and to ask something you mentioned before about the marriage between Ethiopian Jews and Ashkenazi or Sephardi Jews, and it's twice the percentage of what you'll find in the United States between blacks and whites. One of the things we hear about by people who are anti-Israel is that Israel is an apartheid state, that there is persecution and that the Arabs are separate and everything else is separate. Your experience seems to be proof that it's a kibbutz galuyot, that things come together. How do you answer people who talk about that? When you come to the United States and people look at an Ethiopian Jew and they think that maybe you're subject to racism. Is that the case? Do you have problems in Israel? How do you answer all of those questions when you get them?
Listen, Rabbi, I think I see what's going on in America. America is a sick country. It's very, very problem per country. If you can't talk, you can't speak. When I arrived to, I visit a couple of times in state, and I tell, by the way, in Yiddish, Schwarze, and each person he want to cover himself. No way in America. What happened? This is a sick culture. And to say black is beautiful. If there is any connection between black and beautiful, there is no connection between black. Black is black, as white is white. In my white, there is no white and black. It is something in our white, okay, in our head. So, take my rabbi, myself, when I arrive here, I don't know what's this bathroom. I don't know what's this bathroom. And I used to, instead of to sit on the bathroom, I used to stand with my foot on the toilet. And I also, I teach in the ulpan. That's this room, the bathroom. In Hebrew say no chiyut. Is in English also restroom. And I say, if not no chiyut, I'm not rest there. And during of a lot of years, I used to stand on the toilet, okay? And couple of years later, when I arrived to the Merkaz Shapira, one day I went to the bathroom and I opened it, and my friend, he used the bathroom, and when I opened it, he forgot to close the bathroom. I opened it, and for me was discovery, to see him sit on the toilet and he's reading newspaper. And then now I told myself, oh, finally, I know, now I understand why people call to this room restroom. And I don't know how to, what's it's like, okay? Nothing. It's not telling about, nothing about me, about if I, I'm very poor. No, because in Ethiopia, we were very rich, even if, without electricity. We have like Avraham Avinu, cow, everything, son. I was a shepherd, and we were very happy. When my wife and me, we went to the one office to get any certification, and my wife, she wrote which she was born in Switzerland, and I wrote which I was in Ethiopia. And the guy, he asked her, "Ma, at nolad b'Shvayz? You was born in Switzerland?" And she answered, "Of course, yes." And so why did you make Aliyah? Why did you immigrate to Israel? You are crazy to left Switzerland to move here. No, I can't understand. You are crazy. And he saw at me and he told me, no, I can understand why you moved from Ethiopia to Israel. So, of course, here there is, what I call a stereotype or preconception. Of course, if someone told me if I am Ethiopian, I have to work very hard to influence the others that I'm very wise and smart and clever. But Ashkenazi, he have to work very hard to influence the others that he stupid. So the stereotype is that if you are Ethiopian, you are not clever. But Ashkenazi, it's very, very clever. But it's not racism. This is stereotype and preconception. So to see me, I believe myself. I work very hard. Okay, and today I am professor. It's mean I am a senior lecturer at Ono Academic College and also in Bar Ilan. And I in the head of the international center of in Ono Academy, in Ono. So I am a rabbi in Ashkenazi Shul, which was established on Holocaust survivor. When newspaper come to the Holocaust survivor, and he asked them how you receive except Ethiopian rabbi. Sorry, rabbi, he told them black rabbi, and they answered to him how we can, we were in the Holocaust survivor, and there we, there is selection. How do you say no selection? Selection, yes, selection between who you choose. So we, from Holocaust survivor, we going to choose the rabbi according his skin color. We are Holocaust survivor. We don't know Ethiopian. We don't know black. We know Sharon. Sharon he is a guy. So we receive Sharon, no Ethiopia, no black. And this is the problem. I think, unfortunately, most of the people, they prefer to see the negative. Only the negative, only. If we believe that, and this is Ethiopian culture, that in Ethiopian culture, I continue my culture, my Ethiopian culture, to see all the time that to be, optimistic, to see בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ. אומר אלוהים, כן, בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ, בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום, ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים, ויאמר אלוהים יהי אור, ויהי אור. is mean to see, to be able to see the light is perspective of HaKadosh Baruch. So if someone very, very far from the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he all the time see the darkness, tohu vavohu. And of course, there is couple, but I prefer to see the light because this is the perspective of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this is actually what happened today, to see, Ethiopian in a rabbi and an officer and a judge and everything, only in 30 years. I think it is telling us about the Ethiopian Jews, how they believe themselves and they work very hard. But simultaneously, is also tell about a lot of the Ethiopian in Israeli society, which they observes Ethiopian Jews in this way.
Believe it or not, Rabbi Shalom, our time is up. You've given me a half hour, and every time I've heard you, and you've been in our shul, and I've heard you in other places, it's always something that we want to hear more. So I hope at another occasion I'll be able to impose on your time more, because we didn't even touch on your story, which is fascinating, of your coming to Medinat Yisrael when you were 9 years old, the travels you did from Ethiopia, but the accomplishments you have achieved as an olem, as a person within the rabbinic world, the academic world, and of course now, once again, as an author, published through Koren Publications. Your book, The Dialogues of Love and Fear, is something we should read. I thank you so very much for your time. I wish you a Chag Kasher v'Sameach. And I look forward to seeing you in person and not just on the other side of a screen, because you are one of those inspiring people that we need to learn from and listen to, the Vayehi Or, seeing the light of what you bring to all of us. I want to remind everyone that this is not just a recording on Facebook and on Zoom, but also it is on Apple. It's an Apple podcast. You can find this later on today as well. Thank you so much, Rabbi Sharon. We look forward to continuing to learn and to read of you and from you.
Rabbi Metanki, thank you very much. Chag Kasher v'Sameach, and also Chag Sameach v'Kasher. So Kasher brings Sameach, and Sameach brings kosher.
Amen. Thank you. Bye-bye.